40, 5 yards.
Barks out the signals, drops to throw, has time, fires the slant. Jimmy's got it this time, 35, 30, middle of the field, 20. He's going to the 20-yard line. He's going to score. 10, 5, Jimmy Smith, touchdown. And the Jaguars are right back in this ball game. Barks out the signals, pressure coming, steps up, turns, throws. He's got Jimmy, first down, 20. There he goes, 10, 5, touchdown, win. Jacksonville. Done under pressure, steps to avoid, turns and throws. He's got him in, caught Jimmy inside the 40-yard line to the 37 and down at the 36.
Congratulations to Jimmy Smith. That is now his 800th career reception, and what a play to get it on.
This team winning right now, it helps bring so much attention to our franchise, what we did back in the day, like we were talking about, these Hall of Fame conversations. But when we're winning, we see the conversations pick up. So we have noticed that. So obviously, I'm pulling for my team to get to this Super Bowl.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Tom McManus, and Dylan Denmark.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome into Jaguars Today. Tom McManus in with us on this Friday. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark. Senioritis kicking in, Tony. I hope you've got leg day in and you're ready to lift me and carry me for the next 2 hours.
We'll get through it. Yeah.
All right. He's not committing to carrying me anywhere. Tommy Mack, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great, man.
How's the week?
Great. Week's been great. Yeah, absolutely. Couple shows. Horse's Mouth was fun yesterday, and just got done doing a podcast, and always love being here on Friday mornings.
Right on, brother.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Dylan Denmark, greetings, sir.
Mr. Dempsey, how's it going?
That's 2 days in a row you're using my last name. It's sounding very official.
Are you beating his ass in golf? Is that why?
That's not why,
Not really.
but that's just coincidental to him using my last
I thought maybe
name.
there was a connection there.
No, just say I brought it up because he called me. He just said Dempsey yesterday.
Yeah.
The Mister, I don't know where that came from.
Right.
It's not like, for the record, I am no one's boss in life. Okay,
Right,
not
life.
even my son's boss. I'm no one's boss.
Right.
Although technically, since his mom and I paid the tuition, we still should be the boss. But
Right.
I've lost control, Tony, of my domain. Anyway, so all right, here we are on a Friday.
Yeah.
I'm off next week, so we're going to go hardcore.
Oh,
Jacksonville Jaguar
Come on.
discussion today. We got Hayes Carline joining us today, and I invite folks to check this out if you have time before Hayes comes on. Hayes will be on with us in about 35 minutes.
Okay.
And he did a 53-man post-minicamp roster projection for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I thought some very interesting names in there. You start thinking about it, and you're like, man, this guy could start. This guy might not be on the football team this year. So we'll get into that coming up with Hayes,
fun.
Roster building a little bit. And I think there are some obvious moves that need to be made. There's some interesting guys at the end of the wide receiver core and things like that. So we'll touch on all that. But, Tom, today, I'm sure you saw Pete Prisco's top 100 players list come out this week, and he had, Brian Thomas, Tony at 44?
Yes.
Somewhere in there.
I want to say 76?
76 for Josh
Hines-Allen, right?
Today. Yep.
So, all right, let's take Pete as correct, at least in the sense that those are the best two players on this roster, okay? That I think universally, if you polled all the GMs in the league, who's best player in the Jags, Brian Thomas Jr. wins it.
Yeah.
All right, that's what
That's who I would pick too, yeah.
Right, because he's
sure.
never had the, like Josh Hines-Allen, the only real knock on him is a little bit of inconsistency. Like an 8-sack season is a good season, but coming off 17 and a half, it's like, who are you really, right?
Well, yeah, and that's what he's got to find out this year, right? I mean, he got paid to go the 17 route, not the 8 route.
But he did produce that kind of a season. The best ever in Jaguar history.
For sure.
And he's only 2 years removed from that.
Right.
So we'll grant that Pete is right, that Brian Thomas, Josh Hines-Allen are the best two players on the Jacksonville Jaguars. So today we're asking, if that's the case, who's the third? Who's the next best player on this team? And how big of an issue is it, Tone, if it's not Trevor Lawrence?
Well, thinking through it, we all want Trevor Lawrence to wind up being the best player on the roster.
Yes.
Right? Like, that's where we all want him, need him to wind up, that kind of thing. There's no real argument that he's that right now. I think when you're looking at him compared to the other options that you have in the poll question today, which would be guys like Trayvon Walker, like that level of player, I would want to feel better about Trevor Lawrence than I do about anybody else on the roster, but I can understand not being at that point right now. How big of a problem do I think it is?
I guess more like this. If he turns out to not be that this year, whether you think he's that right now.
Yeah.
If he's not one of your top 3 players in 2025, is that an issue? Or, I mean, look, you can look at other teams and say, as they've been coming up, well, the quarterback's pretty good, but they also have this guy who's a Pro Bowler and this guy's. So if that's the case where we've got like 4 or 5 Pro Bowlers ahead of him, that's one thing. If it's a case where we've got like 1 or 2 guys and they're kind of specialists, or we got an alternate, who gets in, that's more of an issue, I think.
I think if we got to the end of this year and for whatever reason we considered him behind those 2 and behind, say, Hunter, right, after 1 year because he's playing both ways and does a pretty good job on both sides of the ball, and he winds up, he's kind of 4th on the list, going into next year after the season he had, I don't think that would be a big deal, right? If that's where it winds up, I would still want more from Trevor Lawrence, but I wouldn't be looking at it as a bad thing.
What if I can name you 7 guys, Tom, after this season, and Trevor's not one of them, who we think are the top players?
No, I mean, is it a problem? Yeah, it's kind of a problem because that just means he didn't have the year that we're hoping that he's going to have.
Or it could mean,
if he has a big year,
it could mean that he has a good year and other guys around him have exceptional years, and then you're like, oh, okay,
right. So if you think of the AFC quarterbacks, it's going to be hard for him to break into a Pro Bowl roster.
Sure, right. That's not going to be right. You're not going to determine it solely on award.
It's based on the year that he has. So I'd like for him to be in the top 3. I mean, I would think the owner would like him to be in the top 3.
I think he'd like to be the top 1, obviously, right? I mean, that's the contract.
Number 1 player. But look, the great thing about football or any sport and the NFL is it can change pretty quickly.
Absolutely.
You can have a monster year and everyone looks at you differently. You know what I mean?
Guy's 25 years old, right? New OC, new scheme, new protection.
They'll all say it finally clicked. He's finally here. Look, if he has a big year.
He went through the rocky different systems, and now he's got a chance
not the first to go
settle
in.
Right. That's if he does that, right? And by the way, not a poll today. So this is open-ended. You can pick anybody on the roster that you like, which includes if you want to project and say Travis Hunter is the 3rd best player. That's up to you. For me, I'm probably not going to go that direction. I want to give a little credence to guys that I've seen it from, but there's no question. I mean, Travis Hunter, in terms of a talent, if you were doing a draft of the Jacksonville Jaguars roster in the National Football League, would he go 1? Would he go, putting quarterback aside, because everyone needs that quarterback, right? So if everyone had the quarterback answered, or didn't need it, and you were just drafting talent off the Jaguars roster, would he go 1? Would BTJ go 1? Would Hines-Allen go 1? Who do you think?
I'm saying BT.
You think he would?
Yeah. He's proven.
Sure.
At the NFL level, he's proven. And now it's 1 year, but he did it with 2 different quarterbacks.
Let me ask you this. I know the Jags are the ones who traded up, so it's tough to know. If Brian Thomas was in this year's draft, would he have gone ahead of Travis Hunter?
Not knowing what we know.
No, because the Jags already had him and they drafted Hunter. So it's hard to know what somebody would choose ahead of the other. He would have been the number 1 pure wide receiver in the draft easily. Like over Tedero and McMillan, I don't think there'd been any question. Brian Thomas would have been.
If you knew what you knew, though.
Right, that's what I'm saying. If you took his
one taken that
But
year?
even the conversation about Brian Thomas Jr. in last year's draft was, in a typical draft, he would be the best wide receiver in the draft.
Right.
But because
or a contender.
Right. The 3 guys that were at the top that everyone was talking about, it was like, well, he's the 4th guy, but he would be at the top of most draft classes at the wide receiver position. The Jags happen to have the luxury of they got what everyone considered kind of the 4th wide receiver in the draft, and he might turn out to be the best, right, of that entire group. But I do think it's interesting trying to figure out in that kind of scenario, Brian Thomas Jr. versus Hunter versus the production we've already seen from a player at as important a position as Josh Hines-Allen plays, right? I think those are the 3 guys that you'd obviously be considering, like, who would go first. Among that group.
Would Josh Hines-Allen definitively go ahead of Trayvon Walker? If another team were, when you factor in age and everything?
No.
I don't know if he would.
I don't think he would.
I mean, it'd be What do you think?
It'd be tight, but I
would take Trayvon if I had to make a decision.
I don't put it this way. I don't think you would be
I'm not trying
unanimous
to knock
that Josh
but
would go ahead of Trayvon in that kind of scenario.
no,
Like,
I don't think it'd be unanimous.
Right? If you offered anybody, and part of it would be like, does the contract factor in, right? Because Trayvon's still so much more affordable than Josh Hines-Allen. So if you were just saying, put the money aside, you get him at this age, let's say for the next 5 years or however long. I think that'd be an interesting debate.
I just think he's on the rise. I think Trayvon's going to be considered one of the better defensive ends in the game at some point in his career. It may be after this year or year 4, year 5, but I think he continues to get better. His pass rushing's got better. He's very good against the run. He could be a menace, that guy. I think that whole defensive front, I'm really excited about our front four. I think, especially with Eric inside, I think Mason Smith could be a big problem for people. And then our two ends. I really do. And if they have a big year, our defense will be phenomenal. We'll be one of the top units in the game if our D-line comes through.
Like, I look at trying to compare those two guys. I think Josh helps Trayvon a lot more than Trayvon helps Josh, right? Like, their presence. Like, I feel that way about it. I'm not sure how anyone else would feel that way. You know, like, I'm not sure. I would probably lean Josh Hines-Allen if I had to take the choice of one or the other of those players, but I don't think there's a big gap between them at this point.
A lot of people going with the specialist this morning as well. And look, that's fine. Like, you could say they're great at what they do.
They're the top of what they
do. But
do.
nobody's taken, I mean, and granted, you take Trevor Lawrence ahead of a lot of the guys we're talking about, too, because of the importance of the quarterback position. But, like, to me, Logan Cook's just not going to impact the game no matter how good he is as a punter. You can't be the best player as a punter, in my opinion.
No.
You know, unless you got a slapstick team of guys that don't belong in the league.
Right.
You know, so, but hey, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
What is yours? Let us know today on the Checkmate Coatings phone lines if you want to get in and discuss that topic or anything having to do with your Jacksonville Jaguars. The way to do it is 641-1010, same number for the text line. Designed by Lifetime Enclosures. You can hop in the YouTube virtual studio and post your thoughts in the chat there, questions, comments, what have you, or find us on social media at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, at Meathead55, and at 1010XL Denmark.
Go Tigers.
All right. Oh, that's interesting. Now, is it, where are we at? Championship game or for a College World Series?
Game 1 of the championship game is tomorrow.
Championship, so it's best 2 out of 3, right?
Correct.
LSU and who's LSU playing?
Coastal Carolina.
Is that right? Coastal Carolina.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Right? Isn't that right?
That's it.
Hey, I'll take your word for it. I don't. All I know is the Arkansas guy threw a no-hitter and then they got bounced on a series of ridiculous plays.
Okay, I watched, was it yesterday a little bit?
Two nights
Pitcher was
ago.
throwing 101, 102. I think he was from LSU. I mean, he was,
Must have been a couple days
unbelievable.
ago.
Maybe it was a couple days ago.
Yeah.
It would look so fast on TV. I couldn't imagine just standing there watching that thing.
It's crazy. I brought this up a bunch of times. I mean, I grew up. It's funny. We're just talking to Dylan, like, when's the last time he's touched an encyclopedia this morning, right? Like, in this age, you don't do, like, times are different.
Your
when
phone
I was
is
a kid,
the encyclopedia.
I got, in 1976, when I was a kid, I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
One of my Christmas presents was the Guinness Book of World Records, and I freaking read that thing cover to cover over and over and over. And they had a sports section in there, and Nolan Ryan was the fastest pitcher in baseball.
90.
100.9.
Oh, wow.
For years, it was 100.9. You got guys throwing 105 now.
Yeah.
Like, a bunch of guys throwing over 100.
Totally.
Like, it's crazy
Isn't it
how
wild?
much different
Bigger,
it
faster,
is.
stronger.
And Nolan Ryan was like, no one in the history of the world will ever throw harder than this guy.
Yeah, right.
And then Aroldis Chapman is like throwing it through a brick wall. I mean, you know.
I think the kid was 6'8", too, like 6'7", 6'8".
Is that right? Yeah, six. Well, Randy Johnson. It's like Randy Johnson, right? He's 6'9". He's just basically handing the ball to the catcher,
right?
And it's coming in at 99 plus.
They need to move that mound back, I think.
I don't think they're going to do that. I think they kind of like to
raise the rim and move the mound back.
I think we're think about how different baseball would be though, if first base was on the other side and you ran the other way. Okay, because all these lefties who beat out those hits because they're a half step closer.
Right.
And it looked like a lefty swing looks cool because they're hitting the ball and they're like a half step to first base.
Yeah, the advantage going to the right.
It'd be the mirror image going the other way, you know, and then you'd want all left-handers playing the infield because you'd be making the throw opposite across your body.
Every inning.
Everything would. Ooh. Tom McManus.
The offense picks. That'd be kind of fun.
There you go. Maybe we'll do that if they ever get the steroid Olympics off the ground. Yeah. They could do something like that.
Right.
It's, you know, one of those.
There already were.
I think there is, right? There is, but nobody really pays attention. And there's some like.
Well, the Eastern Bloc, they've been juicing forever.
Sure, but I think there is some competition that it's not like sanctioned. And they just don't test you for anything. They're not telling you have to take anything.
It's called WWE.
There's probably on this in this town we talk about AEW.
That's right. That too.
All right, so let's talk Jaguar football for the next couple hours. Hayes Carline with a look at his early pre-training camp projection for the Jags 53-man roster. That's coming up in about 25 minutes. You got Tom McManus, Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark. I'm Mike Dempsey. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Door Studios of 1010XL. He doesn't pull punches.
You want to punch me right now, but you won't.
He doesn't beat around the bush.
You got aggression? That's even better. You're going to need that too.
Rick Ballou is the truth teller.
Thank you for clearing that up.
Evenings on 1010XL. Wait, what?
Call 904-500-COOL. Ideal Conditions.
Want to support a locally and veteran-owned company? If you need a new AC, we should be your first and only call. Ideal Conditions keeps you cool. Just ask your AC. Call 904-500-COOL or visit idealconditionsjax.com.
Call 904-500-COOL.
Honk if you see us. Call for service.
Ideal Conditions.
Idealconditionsjax.com.
Are you embarrassed by your ugly, cracked concrete driveway? Stop by Stone Core on Phillips Highway for all your outdoor living needs. Let them show you how a durable paver driveway can enhance your home. Visit stonecore.co. We do outdoors better.
It's a battle for the playoffs as your Sharks take on the first place Steamwheelers. Catch all the action this Saturday, June 21st at 7. Discover the thrill of indoor football. It's fast-paced, action-packed, and full of family fun. Try the new 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 food vouchers, and a $20 Al's Pizza gift card for only $100. Get tickets at jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700.
Prosser here. Come cheer on the Sharks as they circle a playoff bid. It's Star Wars night presented by HCA Florida Healthcare. Dress up in your favorite costume. Get photos with your favorite Star Wars characters before the game. The first 1,000 kids get a free lightsaber. Join us on the field after the game for a free autograph session and special jersey auction. Tickets start at just $15. Call 904-621-0700. That's 904-621-0700. Sharks football, where memories are made.
Go Sharks!
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Hey, I'm Tony from Tony D's Pizza. People ask me all day long, is it the water that makes the difference? Well, yes and no. Even water can't make a good pizza. It's the ingredients, too. The best tomatoes, the best flour, and the best cheese. Oh, and a lot of love. Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
Spend an evening with heart. One night, 2 sets. A journey through the hits and timeless classics. June 24th, St. Augustine Amphitheater. Tickets on sale now at AXS.com. Don't miss an evening with Heart live.
I'm Max Fink on your Gator station. 1010XL is your pipeline to Gator Nation. Listen to the Gator Report all year round.
Freshened up by San Jose Collision on the home of the Florida Gators. 1010XL.
Go Gators!
Mike Dempsey, and now's the time to get your roof hurricane ready with Apex Roofing and Contracting of Jax Beach. Look, our rainy season is no joke, and if your roof's got damage, leaks, or it's just plain worn out, don't wait. Apex is local, dependable, and will show up on time using only premium materials with ironclad warranties. No shortcuts, no stress, just quality work you can trust. Skip the storm season scramble. Reach for the peak with Apex Roofing and Contracting in Jax Beach or visit apexroofingfl.com.
I'm Clayton Bromberg, the president of Underwoods, and I'm proud to say that Underwoods is the longest-standing member of the American Gym Society in the state of Florida. That's important because the American Gym Society promotes professionalism inside the business, and most important because of how it protects the customer. Gemstones are like most things, and you have to have the knowledge about them before you can tell the truth about them. That's where the American Gym Society fits in. They're the organization that certifies gemologists and registered jewelers and certifies sales associates with professional titles. Then, to ensure that we stay up to date with these gemological advances, we re-win our titles by passing a written test every year. And now I'm proud to say Underwoods has the largest credentialed American Gem Society staff east of the Mississippi River. So if you're interested in diamonds and jewelry and want real professional help, stop by Underwoods.
Underwood Jewelers in San Marco, in Avondale, and at the shops of Ponte Vedra.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
Hey, it's Frank Frangie. Look, when it comes to glass needs around the home, there's one name I trust, Lee and Kate's. It's local, family-owned, and they've been part of our community since 1926. They've taken great care of me over the years, and I know they'll do the same for you. Visit leeandkatesglass.com.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
Lucas Tree Service is a certified arborist and a local family-owned business with over 45 years of experience. They specialize in tree removal, trimming, and stump grinding for both residential and commercial properties. Get prepared for storm season and receive top-notch customer service from Lucas Tree Service, 904-241-3533. Online at lucastreeservice.com.
Home is where your story begins. And at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to make it the healthiest, most comfortable place it could be. Whether it's fresh, clean air, dependable plumbing, or reliable power, we take care of it all. From routine maintenance to state-of-the-art solutions, Donovan keeps your home running smoothly. Because at Donovan, we believe your home isn't just where you live, it's where your health meets comfort. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing at 904-270-COOL or visit us online. Let's make your home healthier, safer, and better together.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Mac in the Middle, Tom McManus. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service. On 1010XL.
All right, glad you're along with us here. Jaguars Today. Tony, I feel like you're catching a stray that should really be directed at me, and people don't sometimes know the origin of this. This is on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Mike, please tell Tony it's okay to tell people you're on vacation. You're not on assignment. You're not on assignment next week. You're on vacation. It drives me crazy when he says that. Where'd you get that, Tone?
That was from the show.
Right, but
you did it.
I'm the one who generally is the one who says that.
Right, like
Tony Smith is on assignment.
On this show, we go on assignment. We don't go on vacation.
It's just a little.
You don't
funny.
even know what the assignment is.
It's just a funny little thing. He's on assignment. It's just something we say. It's just our
when you
little
reference
saying.
when I'm out next week, you can say I'm on a snowflake break.
Ooh, that could mean a lot of things. Okay,
I'm working too hard around
could
here.
Mean
I need a snowflake break.
It could be that you're heading out to the mountains, which you are.
Yep.
It could mean
I'm
that
not
you're
gonna see
too
snow,
soft and you can't take your public criticism.
That too.
Or it could mean you're headed to Miami for vacation as well. If you're on a snowflake break. I mean, at least I assume.
Snowflake break.
I don't know, Tom. That's what Scarface, led me to
Scarface.
believe that's where you go for that kind of break.
My dad always used to make us shut that movie off.
Is that right?
Is
that right?
Then he'd leave.
Did he not let you? You did not have the poster then? Like every person.
No, but we had posters.
Every person who I went to college with, every guy I went to college with, I think had the Scarface poster. I was like the poster.
I had like a Nicole Eggert poster. Remember her?
She was
from
from
Charles in
Charge. Yes, the older sister.
Yeah,
right.
One of the sisters.
I think there were two sisters, something like that.
Night to her every night.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, some guys had Farrah. Some guys had Farrah Fawcett.
I had the original Farrah Fawcett back in the day.
Awesome.
Cheryl Ladd.
Now, Cheryl Ladd, she was
whole other
looker.
level.
Yeah.
Yes.
Totally.
Whole other level of actress, of course, we're talking about. Denmark, tell us, you got a 4.3 40 guy now over at Baldwin?
Yeah, we do. Well, he ran a 10.900 about a year and a half ago. He got hurt beginning of football season last year, so he didn't play at all. He couldn't run track. Unfortunate. Had a camp yesterday. Ran a 4.30 and a 4.35 hand time.
Damn, son.
He's about to be a junior in high school.
Is he about to be playing for somebody else?
I mean,
somebody gonna walk
NIL
with a stack of that cash?
The high school transfer portal. One day, one kid could be there. You're like, all right, we're good. And then he could be gone the next day. That's how the portal works. The portal giveth and taketh.
Is there a real high school portal? No, or is it just conversations?
There's no rules in this state.
Okay.
You can just hop around
it's the
from
same.
school to school every year.
Used to be. Remember the whole thing? Does Tim Tebow live in St. John's County?
No,
where does he live, and is he allowed it? Now it's just like
whatever.
Well,
whatever.
Yep.
At least I feel like it's like that.
Not to go to this kind of branch, but in the state of Georgia, once you're done your freshman year, you can only transfer one time. If you transfer more than once, you have to sit out a whole entire year.
Yeah.
In high school.
That's crazy.
Because
you would even risk that. Like, how can you give away a year of high school?
Yeah. Well,
that's nuts.
Like,
stay where you're at.
Right. So they're trying to get you to stop school shopping.
Yeah.
You know, and so you transfer one time.
Like, I like that rule. Like, I like the Georgia rule more than just the open market that we have with high school football here.
You couldn't pay me enough to be a coach to put up with all this. You know,
first of all, I don't mean any
roster
disrespect
changing
to
all the
anybody, but I don't really care if my high school wins the state championship or not. And I wouldn't give any player money to try to help them win. If they win it, I'm happy as a clam. It's great. But if they don't, it doesn't
some people
affect.
do.
I know some people would. That it's like so important to say that you're in whatever. I'm not bagging.
I want my college team to get the best player, but I'm not going to give them money. They can spend their money if they want. They're not spending my money to do it. But, you know, if I were a billionaire, maybe I'd feel differently. You know?
Yeah, maybe.
You got to find something to spend it on.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, you got to find something.
Right.
So this might be. She was on Baywatch too. Nicole Eggert.
Oh, was she?
Says.
Okay.
I think
cool.
so.
I'll take it.
There you go. That might have been the more age appropriate Nicole Eggert. Probably. I'm sure that
I think
was
we were
the
on
one
the same
had.
age, so
Yeah,
I think so.
It's okay if you come up together through the ranks.
Right.
Yeah. So he said on the text line here, 2020 draft, Tristan Wirfs, 13th pick.
Oh.
3 other tackles taken before him, and C.J. Henderson would have been the answer to today's question.
Right.
You know, somebody else asked, you know, why the deference to Josh Hines-Allen is another contract year. Well, that has nothing to do with, you know, we're not saying we're expecting it. I think most people would say the 2 best players on the Jags. I'm not saying us necessarily, but I think it's, you know, Josh Hines-Allen, Trayvon Walker, whomever you're in the debate with, he's in the conversation. And the reason, again, for this topic today is we're spinning off of Prisco's top 100 list.
Yeah.
Where he had BTJ and Josh Hines-Allen. So he is saying those are the 2 best players on the Jags. So we're saying basically if that's a given, who's next? That's all.
Right.
You know? You may think somebody's better than those guys. That's fine.
Sure.
But who is the next name that you would include on that list? Also here.
Tristan Wirfs is
phenomenal.
Unbelievable.
So he said, so between Brian Thomas and Travis Hunter, who's Jimmy Smith, who's Keenan? Nobody's Keenan.
No.
I think Brian Thomas is more Jimmy than either one of them is Keenan, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I think he can take a little bit of the physicality. He's a big. He can runs
every route.
Runs every route and can fly.
Yep.
He's got not just time speed but game speed.
Yep.
Travis Hunter is more. Trying to think who. He's more like potentially. Like maybe a Torrey Holt-ish kind of guy, something like that, right? Like he's not a big. He's never going to be a big box you out body catch guy, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if Torrey Holt had that kind of vertical leap. I don't know who Travis Hunter's perfect comparison would be. It definitely wouldn't be Keenan, though. No. We don't have that guy. We don't have that makeup.
No.
It does feel like the comparisons, it makes sense for them to be the Jimmy and Keenan here because that's what Jacksonville has had, right?
Yeah.
And trying to figure out who's the feature guy and who's the other guy.
In terms of productivity.
Right, like that kind of thing. I can understand having that kind of conversation, but I do think from a direct comparison as far as player
stylistic,
stuff, right? Like it is more like the Rams duet, like that duo.
The Bruce Holt duo.
Yeah, it's more like that as far as the similarity between the players, and you figure out different things to do with them, right? It's more like that kind of thing as opposed to Jimmy and Keenan. they played the same position, but they were asked to do very, very different things, and they were both very efficient at those different things. That's why they were asked to do it.
As I've told this bunch over the years, back when we could go on the sidelines, this is, it might have been 96, right? This is the first, every time I'd always wonder, why are these idiots up in the press box? I can go down on the field for the last few minutes of the game. It was phenomenal. And I saw Keenan catch maybe a 5-yard little in cut, get destroyed, right? He bounces up like it's nothing, goes back. I watch the replay on the whatever size the jumbo board was at the time. And I'm like, so you're seeing it like you'd see it on TV, and I'm like, that did not do justice to how violent he just got destroyed. And that was like all the time.
Well, Keenan was ultra smooth in running his routes. He was ultra tough in making the tough catches. Had great hands and was deceptively fast. He just moved smoother, like it wasn't such quick twitch. But, man, he was a great route runner. I mean, phenomenal. If you left him one-on-one in the open field, in the slot, he was going to work you all day long.
One of the top 5 best-dressed Jags of all time, too.
Yeah.
I mean, he was close.
Oh, him and Jimmy used to, like, have battles. They'd have, like, all, like, I don't know, alligator on them or something, cheetah skin or some crazy, rattlesnake boots, and one would come in orange.
Like you said, Tony, got to find something to spend that money on.
Purple. It would be all different types of colors.
So, but if you're saying production-wise, I still put Brian Thomas in the Jimmy role.
Yeah,
and because Travis Hunter presumably shouldn't ever really catch up with Brian Thomas Jr. in that regard, because that's all Brian Thomas is going to do. He's never going to come off the field, with rare exception, and Travis Hunter is going to be, to some degree, a limited player, just based on the nature of playing two ways.
Well, I think it's fair. Look, last year, we didn't know Brian Thomas could run all the routes until he showed that he could run all the routes. Right? We didn't think that coming out of LSU.
That was a knock on him. Very limited route
fourth.
Coming out.
Right, but then you could tell he could run every route. I don't know if Travis can either. We're going to find out. Like, can he run all the same routes? And then it would be more like a Keenan. You know what I mean? If you can run those inside routes, if you're going to take those, those possession type receptions where there's in a crowd. Look, he looks good so far. I mean, he's making catches in traffic during OTAs and minicamp. Travis is. He made a few. But will he be able to do all that in a real life?
I will say this. Matt Harmon, he's a fantasy guy, right? But he came up with this way of scoring receivers, and he calls it reception perception. Okay, had this is kind of his thing, and he's had it for a few years, and he grades you on all the routes: flat route, comeback, outs, corners, 9 route, post, digs, curls, slants, screens.
Okay,
and you can get like a red, yellow, or a green.
Mm-hmm.
Green is let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Green across the board, every route for Travis Hunter.
Okay,
everything.
Good. Let's see
the entire tree is green. Now, this is based on his watching of his route running in college.
Fair. I want to see
again, what does that level of coverage look like? Are guys off him because they're afraid he's just going to fly
beat
by
you downfield, and he may.
Yeah, and that's kind of the Bruce Holt thing. They had 2 guys that could do everything. And it does feel like the Jags have the potential for 2 guys that can do everything.
Be fantastic. Yeah. No question about it.
We got somebody who can do everything. The Hammer, Hayes Carline, is going to join us coming up next and get into his 53-man projected, way too early, roster projection for your Jacksonville Jaguars. That's coming up next. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today. You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Door Studios. Superior products, exceptional service. The great thing about live sports, you never know what's going to happen.
Oh, how did he pull that off?
Get the most live play-by-play on 1010XL.
Just when you thought we couldn't bring you more, Keon Atlantic is here with a brand new store. We have the same great team to treat you well. With new savings during our grand opening sale. Keon Atlantic is here with the new store. Shop our best offers and largest selection yet. Save big during our grand opening sale. Is there something for everyone on our lot? You bet. If you're ready to experience something new, the all-new Keon Atlantic is ready for you. Your perfect ride is a visit away. Online at KeonAtlantic.com. Keon Atlantic, your coastal Kia connection.
Firehouse Subs has fries. Your hometown hero since 94 just cranked up the heat. Hot subs, crispy fries, golden, pillowy on the inside, and perfectly seasoned. Over 30 Jacksonville locations. Firehouse Subs, homegrown and now with fries.
When you're experiencing sudden, unexpected dental pain, the last thing you want to hear is that your dentist can't see you until next week. That's why I'm so glad I found Harbor Dental Care. Whenever I call, they always find a way to see me within 24 hours, and they can usually fix whatever's wrong the same day. Plus, they have locations throughout Jacksonville, so no matter what side of town I'm on, I can always count on the same great care. If you want to find a dentist who believes in treating people right, learn more at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Mia here for Closets by Design. It's been a few months since they built my custom closet, and you know how much I love it. My family is obsessed. With summer here, why not finally create that custom garage workspace you and your dad want? Think tool storage, workbenches, a place for everything to go. Closets by Design creates custom solutions for every space, lifestyle, and budget. That includes all you guys. Call to schedule your free in-home consultation and receive 40% off plus an additional 15% off. ClosetsByDesign.com.
Denny Thompson here. If you haven't heard, Tyson Sound & Security has a house built right inside their showroom, showcasing complete home automation and security systems. You have to see it to believe it. This setup can recognize intruders who approach your door and alerts them to leave if there's a break-in. Keep your family safe with the most state-of-the-art technology. Tyson Sound & Security, your security, home theater, and home automation experts. New showroom at 3555 U.S. Highway 17 in Fleming Island.
Get tips from PGA pros on Brunch with the Tour with Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser. Tuesday morning at 8:30. Teed up by Clearwater Irrigation and Apex Roofing and Contracting. Brunch provided by Chick-fil-A on 1010XL.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. As temperatures warm up around us, ants come out in droves. And when they move into your home or business, it's unnerving. Terminix knows that ants add up fast, but Terminix subtracts them faster because living with ants isn't any fun. When ants show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with an ant problem, Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com.
Hey, Hicken here, or just call me Dreamfinders Danny. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down that rate and get in the game. You heard me right. It's 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
Bueller.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal. Pretty nice weather we're having, huh?
You think this is nice?
I mean, it's sunny, warm. We do live in Florida.
It's not all upside, Jason. Warm weather comes, so all the cool people hit the beach. My old air conditioner craps out, so it's 1,000 degrees inside, and I'm stuck on a video call in my underpants trying not to sweat through my...
Wait. Put these sunglasses on.
I'm not going to put on your... Whoa.
The air conditioning experts at Bueller Air & Plumbing can keep your home office cool and comfortable all summer long. You look good in your meeting, impress the big guy with your cool confidence, maybe finally make assistant deputy regional manager.
Wow, air conditioning can do that?
Life moves pretty fast. If you spend all summer worried the weather is going to be too nice, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
At Cannons of Jacksonville, they know that when you're towing anything, you gotta have products you can rely on. With over 50 years of fabrication expertise, the family at Cannons can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Whether it's a heavy-duty hitch, trailer frame, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons will provide you with unmatched precision and durability. For all your towing needs, visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
For the greenest, luscious lawn on the block, choose the local legends, Roundtree Sod. Don't just settle for ordinary. Let Roundtree Sod deliver you a picture-perfect lawn. To get a free estimate, call 7414-SOD. 7414-SOD.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
You can't touch this. You can't touch this.
Tom McManus. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service on 1010XL.
All right, we move along on this Friday morning. Hayes Carlion is the hammer. He is the 1010XL Jaguars embedded reporter. And if you go to Hayes' blog right now at 1010XL.com, you will see I'm sure he would describe it as a way too early 53-man roster projection, but we've seen everything we're going to see, Tony, until training camp. So how do you feel?
It's all happening in about 8-9 weeks.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How do you feel about where the roster stands right now? Let's talk with Hayes about that. Good morning, Hammer. How are you?
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you all?
Excellent. Good to have you on board, man. And going through this, and we want folks to check this out because I think it's a very difficult exercise, Hayes, even if you've been through training camp to nail some of these last cuts. And that's really where the meat of a 53-man roster projection comes in. We can all project Josh Hines-Allen and Trevor Lawrence and a bunch of guys, right? But
right.
Let me jump to the one that caught my eye the most, and that is Darnell Savage. There's a lot of competition, and we've discussed it. I'm sure you and Frank and others have as well in great detail, that it's very difficult to know who that starting free safety is going to be. Ransaw, high draft pick. Dewey keeps showing up and making plays. And certainly Savage was on the team where Campanelli had a great up-close look at him for several years. So just tell me how you see this safety group playing out overall.
Yeah, it's the most compelling position battle, I would say, in terms of the final spots, because it does seem like they've got 7 viable guys for probably 5 spots. I can't imagine they'd keep more than 5. And so in looking at it, I think the new guys are locks. So Eric Murray, the free agent, Caleb Ransaw, 3rd-round pick, and even Rayon Lane, 6th-round pick. I don't think those guys are not making the 53. I just think to me, it's a little easier to do this when you're dealing with a first-year coach and GM, because obviously they're going to be more likely to keep guys they've brought in and not guys they've inherited. So that leaves you with Wingard, Daniel Thomas, Savage, and Antonio Johnson. Those 4 players for 2 spots. And I just think in looking at it, Wingard is it appears like he's gained their trust, the coach's trust, as a defensive player, and you know what he can do on special teams. So I like his standing, and I think Daniel Thomas, because of how valuable he is on special teams, I think he's got a great chance to make it. That 5th safety, you're probably looking at who's my best special teams guy. So it wasn't easy, but I think Darnell Savage, being somebody that the previous administration brought in, it's tricky because it doesn't do them any good to cut him. So financially, it's not an ideal circumstance. Maybe they could work out a trade, get something, a late round 6th, 7th round pick, and probably the 27 draft. You're probably not even going to be able to get a pick in this coming draft for him, but we'll see. I mean, maybe a team loses a couple of safeties in camp or something like that. And Antonio Johnson, there's still upside there, but he really struggled last year. And I just get a sense that, you can't keep everybody. So I just think that Savage and Antonio Johnson will be the 2 guys that that won't make the 53. Again, all this could change if the Jaguars have an injury at this position. Then, like anything else, then it becomes very fluid. But assuming they don't have any injuries, that's how I see it. I think they keep Murray, Ransaw, Wingard, Lane, and Thomas, and cut Savage or try and trade Savage and Antonio Johnson.
Hayes, the team has added Ogba, Smoot, and Gardeck as potential pass rush depth help. How improved do you believe that group will be, and what is fair to expect from the group beyond Josh and Trayvon?
That's really, that's the million-dollar question, I think, for this defense, because they've just been so woeful with supplemental pressure outside of Hines-Allen and Walker the last couple of years. But I like what they've built. I think it helps in the interior that you'll have Mason Smith, I think, getting ready to make a big step forward in year 2. I think Armstead playing the more natural tackle position will also help the guys on the edge and force some plays to them. And then looking at it, I think Ogba's a perfect fit. I'm really excited about that signing and what, again, they haven't been in pads yet, but just hearing Campanile talk about him, his experience with Ogba, and the fact that he does have 47 career sacks. So, obviously he can get the job done. We'll see if DeJuan Smoot, what he has left. But I like him as a fourth guy. And then, you've got these two linebackers in Gardeck and Jalen McLeod that, look like they've got, well, Gardeck definitely, he's proven he can get after the quarterback. And you hope that, they have found something with McLeod. So, I think the supplemental, edge pressure has been greatly boosted. Ogba is somebody I think that can be in the 5 to 7 sack range. Smoot can probably give you 3 or 4. Gardeck can probably give you 3 or 4. Anything McLeod gives you will be a bonus. And, I think Mason Smith in the interior can go from 3 to 5.5, and Armstead can improve his numbers. So they've got a much better chance of having that nice collective of, obviously you hope Trayvon and Josh, both are in the 15 to 20 range. That's, that would be ideal. But it doesn't appear like it will then just totally drop off a cliff once you get beyond those two like it has the last couple of years. So, when you look at these great defensive teams that really pressure the quarterback, get the quarterback down on a frequent basis, they've got 6 or 7 guys, that are a factor. It's not just like 1 or 2 guys and then nothing else. So I think the construction of this defense has a much better chance of being, way higher in sack percentage, because I don't think there's the mass drop off in talent when Hines-Allen and Walker have to, come off to the side for a little bit to get a breather.
Hey, it's great to talk to you, my man. Looking at the offensive line, I'm not surprised by the cuts at all, of course, with Luke Fortner and Javon Foster being those two guys. But I noticed when you listed the old line, Hayes, you got Wyatt Millham in between Walker Little and Robert Hainsey. It looks like the first 5 is your starting 5. Can we assume that? And do you think that Wyatt will beat out Ezra for that left guard position?
I do. Yeah, that's my projection of it. I just think taking him in the 3rd round where they took him, 90% of the time, that's a player that's going to be an immediate starter. And I think in this case that absolutely should be the expectation. Again, we haven't seen any contact yet. But right. Wyatt Milam is somebody that, I'm anticipating being a really good fit for them. I think Gladstone and Cohen have a really good vision for what they want to get out of the offensive line, and particularly the left guard spot. And I don't know that Ezra Cleveland is exactly what they're looking for there. So, I think Wyatt Milam's going to win that job, and I think he's going to win it fairly quickly.
Talking here with Hayes Carline from the Frangie Show. You can hear him every afternoon here on 1010XL, covering your Jacksonville Jaguars and a lot more. Hayes, when it comes to Travis Hunter, he's 2 guys in your lineup. Is he saving you a roster spot on your projection? Do you look at it and say, okay, well, I've got him. I can kind of count him 1 foot in the wide receiver room, 1 foot in the defensive back room. I can save a spot somewhere, and therefore I can keep that 4th running back? Or is that too much to put on a guy? Because one injury can open up two holes in your lineup. How do you think they'll look at it when they're constructing the 53?
Yeah, I ended up really not counting Hunter as two. I kept 6 receivers, and that's where I counted Travis Hunter. But I still kept 5 corners, obviously knowing that he can certainly help them there, which gives them almost 5.5 corners, so to speak. But yeah, I mean, I think honestly for me it was the lack of depth at some positions that gave me a little bit extra. Like I don't think they have a third quarterback they should keep, so you're only keeping 2 quarterbacks. The tight end depth I think is abysmal once you get beyond their main 3. So I think normally you would keep 4. And they might end up keeping 4 by week 1 if they're able to, bring in somebody off of waivers or something like that, a player that they like that gets released somewhere else. But for now, I think it's Strange, Long, and Munn are their 3. So it was more just natural lack of depth at some other spots that, that I thought gave me a little bit of room to play with at some stronger areas. But yeah, at receiver, I kept 6, obviously BTJ, Travis Hunter, De'Ami Brown, Parker Washington. Then I think it gets concerning because who that 5th and 6th guy are, I think is completely up in the air. I mean, I'd listen to pretty much any argument for any player on the roster, but I went with Cephas and Pancol, the undrafted free agent, just based on what I've seen in what we're able to watch in the offseason program and, obviously factoring in special teams value as well. And then at corner, I kept obviously Tyson, Jordan Lewis, Monteric Brown, Jarian Jones, and DeAndre Prince. So it's certainly nice to then be able to say, oh, and I also can throw Travis Hunter into this mix for however many snaps he ends up playing defensively. But I think it's going to be probably roughly half the game. So yeah, it was certainly a luxury to have a player like Travis Hunter, but it really probably was more lack of depth at some other spots that gave me the supplemental bonus almost positions of strength.
Hey, as you mentioned a moment ago that you did have Pancol making your 53, but it didn't sound like a strong endorsement necessarily. Who has been the most impressive undrafted free agent that the team signed in the practices that you've been able to see?
Yeah, it's tough because you're going to have to go with a skill guy because you just haven't seen any sort of gladiator drills with the guys in the trenches. So, so to me, you'd have to go with a skill guy. The receiver is just begging for somebody to come out of nowhere because, like we said, once you get, they're keeping 6, and once you get beyond Thomas, Hunter, Brown, and Washington, who is it going to be? I mean, they did sign. The only free agent that they brought in that I didn't keep, and this could certainly change as we get further into once training camp starts, we get into it, was Trenton Irwin, the receiver that they got from Cincinnati that is a veteran guy. So maybe you could throw him in there. I just think once you get to that like 5th, 6th spot, you want young guys. I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense to have a journeyman as your 5th or 6th receiver. That needs to be a developmental, a rookie or a first-year guy like a Cephas, something like that. So I went young with those 2 spots, but whoever it is, there is not much there. Receiver could be a position that, again, is once camp starts and certainly once you get to, cut day, the Jaguars, who will have, a fairly high pick and waiver claims, receiver could be something that they're looking at. But again, I mean, it's they still have a whole camp. Perhaps one of these young guys steps up and really solidifies it. But I think it's pretty questionable once you get beyond that receiver 4. Now, again, that's not an alarming problem. I mean, you could certainly have way more glaring issues to deal with, but it is something that you got to keep an eye on.
Hey, Hayes, I noticed you got all 4 the running backs there, Tootin, Etienne, Bigsby, and Allen. How do you see that shaking down on Sunday? I mean, all going to be active, 3 out of the 4? I'm sure it could be week to week, but how do you think they would go in looking at that position?
I think all 4 are going to be active, and I think I really like what I've seen out of Tootin and Allen. So I think Bashal Tootin's going to be the leading rusher on the team. I think he's going to have 1,000-yard season. And, I think as the season goes on, I think Etienne's going to get more and more de-emphasized. Bigsby, I think, will have a fairly consistent role, but is more of a secondary back. And then Hines-Allen, I think, absolutely, has a great chance to, earn some playing time in obvious passing situations. So I think ultimately it'll end up being, like, if I had to rank them in terms of, like, yardage, I would say I'd go Tootin, Bigsby, Etienne, Allen. But I think all four of them will be active, but I expect Tootin will have a really strong rookie season.
Okay.
Interesting stuff, as always, with Hayes-Carlyon of the Frangie Show, our 1010XL Jaguars embedded reporter, at least one of them, certainly. And we invite you to go check out Hayes' blog at 1010XL.com and get into the nitty-gritty and give him some feedback on the 53-man roster projection, which, by the way, is one of the most thankless tasks you could do in June. I mean, we've seen nothing in pads. We've seen no training camp. So, Hayes, we appreciate you sticking your neck out there. It comes with the territory. And keep up the great work, and thanks for the time, as always.
Sure thing. Always enjoy being with you guys, and have a wonderful weekend.
All right, there we go. Let's hope that's the case. Hayes-Carlyon, I love that. I saw that yesterday. Oh, got to get Hayes on.
Yeah,
I know he was talking about that yesterday. I'm with you. 4 running backs is interesting. And if you're in the Hayes camp and you think that Etienne ultimately gets de-emphasized and you really like what you see out of Tootin and Allen, and you've got Bigsby, who outperformed Etienne with the same line last year, that's what, or if you wonder, where's all this talk about Etienne not being here coming from? I mean, it's just the circumstance. It's you can see how that could play out. So it's going to definitely be one of the top storylines to watch, I think, in training camp coming up. All right, hour 2 on the way. The Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day, asking you, let's assume Brian Thomas Jr., Josh Hines-Allen considered the best 2 players on the Jags. If that's the case, who's currently number 3? Who joins them at the top of the heap for Jacksonville? This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Hey, everybody, Mike Dempsey here for my friends at Dandy Foods. I've been talking about Dandy for about a decade now. Almost every time I talk about their delicious products or the fact that they're a family business serving Jacksonville for almost 70 years now. One thing I probably don't say enough is this: never frozen. Folks, it's made fresh. Dandy is made fresh, delivered fresh, practically daily, and that is the difference. You're going to see other brands out there more than likely just thawed out. They'll call it fresh. They'll tell you that. You can tell it, though, in the bread especially. It's not all dry and crumbly when you open it. With Dandy, you get that soft, delicious bread. Nobody wants a dried out sandwich. The Thompson family, creators of Dandy, they understand that. For me, when I see their logo with the little guy with the cane, it tells me I'm going to get a trusted brand, a quality sandwich made with fresh bread, fresh meats, fresh cheese. So the next time you're out and about in Duval, do what I do. Stop in the nearest Dailies and make yours a Dandy. And do it today.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
What are you doing? You touched that switch and... Which one, this?
1010.
More power.
10XL.
The SEC and the ACC will face off in Jacksonville at the 81st Tax Slayer Gator Bowl game, December 27th at 7:30 p.m. Join us for Saturday Night Football in prime time at the bank. Preferred locations and pricing available now at TaxSlayerGatorBowl.com.
Your home is more than walls and a roof. It's where you breathe, drink, and power through life. At Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to keep it all running smoothly. From clean, cool air to clean water, reliable power to expert plumbing, we do it all. For over 35 years, families have trusted Donovan to make their homes healthier, safer, and more comfortable. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing today, 904-270-COOL, where health meets home.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. With the weather now hot as can be, look ahead and get that backyard ready for fall with a new open air or screened-in enclosure. Maximize the space you have and make it great with Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. They truly are the best in the business. So if you have the space and the idea, give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Tell them Prosser sent you.
A chipped windshield can turn into a big problem fast. Lauren Brooks here. Trust Novus Glass of Jacksonville for expert repair and replacement. Call 904-289-2905 for Novus Glass in Orange Park. 904-289-2905.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold's recently hit an all-time high at over $3,000 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
June is Men's Health Month, and here's your reminder to be proactive and get screened for early detection at Ackerman Cancer Center. Many cancer instances are largely preventable and treatable. So take steps now to minimize your risk factors at AckermanCancerCenter.com.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Have you been diagnosed with moderate to severe opioid use disorder? You may qualify for a new clinical research study. Dr. Ferdinand Formoso is now enrolling participants to evaluate the effectiveness of a non-opioid medication treatment option for OUD. Qualified participants will receive study-related care at no cost and may be eligible for reimbursement of travel and accommodations. To qualify, applicants must be 18 to 65 years old, have been diagnosed with moderate to severe opioid use disorder, and have not been on medication to treat opioid use in the last 3 months. The study lasts up to 22 weeks, with weekly visits during treatment. If you're ready to explore a new path forward, visit OUDstudy.com for more details and qualifications. Take the first steps and visit OUDstudy.com. That's OUDstudy.com. OUDstudy.com.
Spend an evening with heart. One night, 2 sets. A journey through the hits and timeless classics. June 24th, St. Augustine Amphitheater. Tickets on sale now at AXS.com. Don't miss an evening with Heart live.
It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. Tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
This is your local sports update. I'm RJ Saunders for 1010XL. This update brought to you by Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. Florida State's 2025-26 men's basketball schedule is becoming clear. John Rothstein has announced that the Seminoles have entered into an agreement with the University of Dayton to play a home-and-home series in 2025 and 2026. According to Rothstein, the Seminoles will travel to Dayton Arena to play a game on December 16th, 2025, and the Flyers will travel to Tallahassee for another matchup in 2026. Gator fans can now reserve their seats at the Swamp for the 2025 season. Individual tickets for all 6 2025 home games are on sale now. For additional questions, you can call the Gator Ticket Office. Currently 85 degrees at 11 o'clock, time in 10, brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Tom McManus.
Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service on 1010XL.
What are you laughing at over there?
Who does the Tom McMahon? Is that like AI? Something like it sounds like a robot.
That's Dylan Denmark. Dylan, show your deep announcer voice, Dylan.
Tom McMahon.
See?
Number 55.
Sounds just like
That's
it.
not
All right.
bad, actually.
That's pretty good.
That was pretty good. I
like
know.
it.
Voice guy.
Yeah.
Those voice guys, man.
Oh, yeah.
Make buku.
Absolutely.
Buku.
Yeah.
We used to have a guy over at the old station, right? And we would get him for like once a month.
Yep.
You could send him like a page and a half a copy.
Yep.
I mean, it was it. If it went over a page and a half, I'm not doing this.
Right.
You know, like,
Yeah.
like, come on, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but so every once in a while, and that was for all the we had 7 stations. And they didn't all use the same guy, but you didn't get to refresh everything all the time. You'd be very selective about what you use. But
Yeah.
I think the guy,
Especially when you were the 7th of the 7 in
right?
the building.
And we were definitely the 7th of the 7th when it came to budget and all that kind of stuff. So, I think I remember hearing that he made like $300 per account.
Okay.
And he did it from his house,
Yeah.
which at the time was like still to me like
Yeah.
a foreign concept. Now I do shows from my house all the time.
Right.
But yeah, like let's say you got 20 of these stations or whatever.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good living because a page and a half is going to, even if you read every line 5 times, it's going to take you that long, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I had the voice guy who does the security, the characters in the security. Who's the famous security guy in town? The security company.
Yeah, with that. Those guys.
Lester Jackson's
Yes,
company. Lester Jackson's company. And I was like,
Safe
really?
Touch, right?
Safe Touch Security.
There you
Thank you. And,
You're welcome for the free plug.
There you
Glenn.
go. But anyway, he was at the bar, Tommy Mac, at the Horse's Mouth, and I was like, do you do both? He's like, yeah, I do. Wow, you do both. I'm like, do a little. He did it, but he did it towards like me being behind the bar. It was really, I was like, that's pretty dang cool. That's pretty cool. You're right. You can make a great living being voice talent.
Speaking of, when I watch Heat, right? You ever see Heat?
Yeah,
right.
more than once.
Phenomenal, right?
Oh,
it's great.
Never shut it off.
So Val Kilmer is hooked up with Ashley Judd in that movie, right?
Yeah,
And they got a kid, but Ashley Judd's cheating on him.
Right, with
Hank Azaria, right,
yeah.
who does all the Simpson voices, right?
Yeah.
And like at the time, you're just I don't know if I could name you another thing Hank Azaria has actually been in as him, as a his
an
face.
actor. Right.
I'm sure he's been in plenty of things, but
Yeah.
it's kind of weird.
I didn't know he did all the voices for the Simpsons.
Probably not every single one, but he does the majority of them.
That McFarlane guy's talented.
Oh yeah, he does
he's
a ton of
crazy.
stuff. Of course, Mel Blanc, the original.
Yeah.
All the Looney
Family Guy and
Tunes.
stuff. Didn't he do all that?
Family Guy was McFarlane.
Yeah, McFarlane. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Mel
yeah.
Blanc was the whole Looney Tunes, Bugs Bunny, like all of them.
Huh.
And you could see it, like he'd hold the. You could find videos of him like this quick on Google where he's just switching from one to the other. It's like, that's it seems like
talent, man.
it's not
That's
that hard
talent.
to do, and then you see it like in full motion. It's like, wow, that's pretty good.
Yep.
Speaking of movies, I just saw this because I'm an hour away now, right? Like I'm fighting senioritis here.
Right.
I've got a big
You're off.
quote, wink, wink assignment coming up next week.
I've
That
got an
will
assignment
take me
next
away. Do you?
Yeah.
He's hanging out with me.
I'm hanging out with Tony
all right.
3
Well, there you
days
go.
next week.
Yeah.
So I see a list, and it got me to click on it. The top 50 summer blockbuster movies. Now, these are ranked. Okay, so it's somebody's opinion. So I'm not going to ask you what they were. They went with Empire Strikes Back as number 1.
Huh. What?
As in terms of the best summer block, not the highest grossing, but their favorite. Whatever.
Okay.
So, 1979, Rocky 2 had Apocalypse Now.
Wow.
Moonraker. James Bond was big back then. Alien came out.
Holy cow.
What movie outgrossed all of them that year in the summer blockbuster category and made you fear flies and glowing pig eyes? If you've seen it.
Alien?
The Amityville Horror.
Oh, the Amityville Horror.
Yes, the Amityville Horror.
I jogged by that house as a kid.
You can't
At Long
see,
Island.
but it doesn't like
That
isn't
got
that
more
like
money
the
than
back
all those?
face
That's
of the house, like the way the house is shaped, and you got it looks like two eyes, right? The way they frame it.
Yeah.
I thought that like does that side face the road? I thought that was like the opposite side of the house.
No, I don't. I just remember going. I have a half sister that lives in Bayshore from my dad's first marriage. My sister
My
Linda.
mom used to go to Amityville when she was a kid.
Yeah, we jogged by the house. It was so scary. Like, man, I mean,
back then that was like, if you didn't live through it, that was
that was scary.
Yeah, we didn't have the internet where you had a scare a minute if you want. Yeah, like everything's out there. You're just saturated with
Exorcist was really scary.
Oh, Exorcist is the
that was weird
scariest of all time. I just thought that was pretty amazing. That outgrows all those movies with seemingly a lot more staying power. I don't know about Moonraker, but you know what I mean. Like Alien and Apocalypse Now.
Yeah,
Rocky 2.
Rocky 2.
Those were phenomenal back in the day. All right, why don't we get it back to the focus at hand?
Come on.
Tony Smith going to take us around the National Football League.
Now, Gems Around the NFL. Brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jack's Beach.
I like Amityville, but I'm a little bummed that it outdid Rocky 2. I'm not gonna lie. Tennessee Titans wide receiver Treylon Burks told TennesseeTitans.com yesterday that he is running at this point in his recovery from the ACL injury that he suffered last year, that he's feeling great. At this point in the process, we'll see what that means for the Titans. Kansas City head coach Andy Reid said yesterday that wide receiver Rashee Rice, who is recovering from a torn ACL, and rookie first-round pick offensive lineman Josh Simmons, who tore his patellar tendon last season with Ohio State, are both expected to be ready for the start of training camp for Kansas City. And according to Medina County court records in Ohio, Cleveland quarterback Shedeur Sanders' speeding citation that I mentioned during this segment yesterday, which involved him driving 101 in a 60 miles per hour zone, is Sanders' second speeding citation, with the first occurring 2 weeks ago on June 5th. Sanders was cited on that occasion for driving 91 in a 65 mile per hour zone, but apparently he's got a bit of a lead foot when it comes to the roads.
I feel his pain.
Well, and like if I was making the kind of money that he is potentially, and they said it's going to be a $250 fine, I'd be like, I'm going to drive as fast as I want to drive.
Well, 100's you're dangerous at 100 for anybody, I think. 90's okay. As long, I'm talking about, it's got to be on a highway. I'm not talking like neighborhood type roads.
Yeah, 90 and a 60.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's probably not in the top 5 of off-field transgressions for the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah,
right? I mean, that's just the nature. But is it different because it's your quarterback? Like, your quarterback is supposed to be the tone setter of the entire franchise. You think 100%, Dylan?
Yeah, okay, name another quarterback that's had bad off the field stuff in the last 10 years that just got drafted before their first start. Name one.
Before their first start.
I don't know. When did Jamarcus Russell start throwing those scissor parties, Tony? Was that after his rookie year?
And that's almost 20 years ago.
No, I hear what you're saying. And especially as PFT, and we have a love-hate relationship with PFT. They make some good points from time to time. They're also, agenda-driven, it seems at times. But if this happened, like if you got pulled over, you got a ticket going 30-plus miles an hour over, and you're like, you know what? And would you
the fine and move on?
Maybe you'd slow down for the next week.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like that was kind of the point. At least you'd be a little bit more. Oh, it's more top of mind. Whatever. Yeah. I mean, it's not. At the end of the day, he's going to be judged
speeding
on what he does.
You got to be careful out there. I know that, but at least he's not. He wasn't under the influence. There wasn't none of that. He just was speeding. And look, if he wants to drive around Cleveland, he better stop speeding all over the place, or somebody will be driving him around.
It's an irresponsible thing to do, and the quarterback position is the position where you can least expect the irresponsible nature of it, right?
You want him to be stable.
Yeah,
I get it, but
you're the face of the franchise, or you're trying to be.
He's trying to
be the face of the franchise, and again, he's got light years of transgressions to go before he catches the Sean Watson, right? I mean, I'm not trying to say this is,
and there's the aspect of it of. I don't know how many players in the NFL have speeding citations.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but I know when a quarterback has one, the whole world's going to know about it.
Yeah.
Right? That kind of thing's just not going to...
It's going 100 miles an hour. No, we wouldn't know about it at all if it was, the
sixth defensive end.
Right.
It's like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, look, in the end of the day, I'm not going to bury Shedeur Sanders over this, that's the Browns' problem to worry about.
Yeah.
Don't. By the way, now... we joke about it. We all speed from time to time, but it's all fun and games until you're going 35 miles over the limit and you kill somebody, right? And I'm not trying to be dad here.
No, I know.
And again, it's not. There are
it's a
much worse
dangerous
things you
speed.
can do than what Shedeur Sanders has done.
And there's already questions about, his maturity level. That's why he wound up getting drafted where he did. Like these kind of stories just, they don't help. Like if you're trying to get past all that kind of stuff from a Sanders perspective, it's like, what are you doing, man?
Because his fallback is he's already made millions in college. So he's like, whatever, I'm just going to speed. And then if I don't make it, I'm good. I don't know. All that money. Who knows? I'll tell you what's more egregious is that Anthony Richardson's a rapper now. He's come out with some rap.
I heard the guy's talking about this morning. He's been a rapper.
He's been a rapper since he was in college.
Has? Yeah. But Dylan, do you not take up? Do you maybe put that on the back burner when you're fighting for relevancy and your job is on the line, or do you?
I don't care.
You don't care. All right, you're a youngster.
I think it's funny. He's got shoulder injuries, but he's a rapper.
Boomer. I mean,
it's not like
the shoulder cover, like, not too good, but that rap music is rocking,
if
man.
he had just started his rapping stuff like a week ago, I'd be like, all right, this is weird. But
he has
been doing this for years.
I hear you. I hear you. Nevertheless, if you don't play well, or if you can't stay healthy, or if you don't do enough to beat out Daniel Jones, people are going to say, are you focused enough?
Right. You could ask the question, how many of the top quarterbacks in the game would have a rap video or whatever, a rap career on the side?
I would give some good money to see Trevor Lawrence lay down a few bars, man.
I mean, how many of the top guys would have a side hustle like that?
In all seriousness, I mean, how much different is it if you go into the studio for a few days, or if you go film some endorsement commercials for a few days, or if you go to Cancun for a few days?
Yeah, it didn't work for Kadarius Toney.
No.
Like,
and I have no problem with these guys trying to figure out what life is going to look like outside of football, right? And if music is the direction you want to go with it, as long as it's not a distraction of what you're doing on the football field, that's fine.
Yeah.
The quarterback, again, it's different. It's just different when it's the quarterback doing those kind of things, especially a quarterback who's had the issues staying on the field that Anthony Richardson had. Like, there are big questions about what kind of career are you going to have?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
well, maybe then you'd look and go, you should have fine-tuned your rap skills because this ain't for you.
Right.
You're not long for the
that
NFL.
may be the way he looks at it.
Maybe.
And if he does, that's, everyone can do whatever they want to do.
Right. You want to avoid being back in my day guy. Yeah. It's a new day. It's like we were talking about with Dylan this morning. Like, Dylan remembers the smartphone days and what that it was like. He knows kids now that don't. Times have changed, and that's the reality. And we did this. Well, that's too bad. If you could have done this, you probably would have.
Yeah. At the end of the day, the number one job in their life is the NFL.
Terry Bradshaw's in the Hall of Fame. He won 4 Super Bowls. He put out some albums.
He did.
Yeah, he did.
They weren't rap albums. They were country. And he did covers and whatnot.
4 Super Bowls. I guess you can do that.
Right. And that was more like, I think at the time, it was more like, this guy's singing. I don't know about the singing, but it wasn't like, oh, he's not focused enough on the task at hand. I can't believe Terry Bradshaw would take time to go to a studio and record some tracks. Who cares?
Right.
You know?
Well, when you're winning Super Bowls,
that's what I'm saying. But it didn't hurt him, though.
No, right. Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're right. He probably had some Super Bowl equity built up ahead of time.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm not. You can do whatever you want, But I think of like even like locally, like Anton does this food thing. I'm like, go play your position really great, and then go do that stuff.
I hear what you're saying, right?
Your job is to be a football player.
I don't think
not building your brand.
But that's the thing. It's a different. That is their job. To them, it goes hand in hand. Like, hey, you can say that, but this is going to last so long. My brand is going to maybe outlast this. And why can't I do both? Do we expect Anton Harrison is sitting at home and studying, or any player in the NFL is studying their playbook in every down moment? Of course not.
No.
You got to have some downtime. And so if he likes to post about food, I hear what you're saying, though. If you're not playing well, you open yourself up to be a target.
I just think if you're playing well, you can do whatever you want.
That's right. And that's the way I look at it.
And if you're struggling, then you shouldn't.
People are going to look for reasons and excuses and
focus on your game.
And by the way, Mac in Bear, Delaware says Hank Azaria's best role is in Brockmire.
Brockmire is amazing.
Yeah, people love Brockmire. They tell me I would love Brockmire.
I've never seen it.
I haven't either.
Yeah.
Never seen it. And I for whatever reason, it's just never kind of drawn me in.
I love Bruckmeyer.
So,
yeah.
all right. Hey,
I'm
to
bummed
each your
that
own.
it's not streaming anywhere right now.
Is it not? Okay.
No.
Well, that's probably it. It doesn't pop up in my face because I got them all, man. I got everything. My son gets Paramount. Like Paramount was like the one I didn't have.
Yeah.
My son's like, I gotta have that. So he pays for it. I'm like,
Right.
all right, give me the login.
Yeah.
So I got them all pretty much.
Nice.
For the most part. All right. We'll come back. Let's discuss candidates for that third best player.
Okay.
If Brian Thomas and Josh Hines-Allen top the list as Pete Prisco suggests they do for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Who's next and who's in the conversation as we continue along? This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Catch the draft and accelerate to the checkered flag.
Who's going to win at Pocono?
This Sunday at Pocono Raceway, powered by the Plumbers and Pipefitters Local Union 234 and 1010XL. Now, the Florida Gator Report on 1010XL, brought to you by San Jose Collision.
The defending national champions will be making a pit stop here in Duval next season as they'll face the Miami Hurricanes in a neutral site matchup. It'll be the first time the Gators and Hurricanes have squared off on the basketball court since 2019, and the game will be played in mid-November. Florida has won 6 of their last 10 against Miami and hold a 23-game lead over them in the series all-time.
It's a battle for the playoffs as your Sharks take on the first place Steamwheelers. Catch all the action this Saturday, June 21st at 7. Discover the thrill of indoor football. It's fast-paced, action-packed, and full of family fun. Try the new 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 food vouchers, and a $20 Al's Pizza gift card for only $100. Get tickets at jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700.
Prosser here. Come cheer on the Sharks as they circle a playoff bid. It's Star Wars night presented by HCA Florida Healthcare. Dress up in your favorite costume. Get photos with your favorite Star Wars characters before the game. The first 1,000 kids get a free lightsaber. Join us on the field after the game for a free autograph session and special jersey auction. Tickets start at just $15. Call 904-621-0700. That's 904-621-0700. Sharks football, where memories are made.
Go Sharks!
Yo, E.T. here, and I need you to beat the heat this summer with cool escapes and non-stop fun in Clay County. Tackle indoor adventures head on. Throw axes at Live by Axe or smash your stress away at Just Smash That. Then kick back with drinks, good food, and fandom vibes at Nakama Anime Bar or Leaderboard Arcade and Bar. Whether you're blowing off steam or just looking to chill, Clay County got your perfect indoor getaway. Find your cool at exploreclay.com. That's exploreclay.com.
At Tucker Equipment Rental in Neptune Beach, you just don't rent quality machines, you rent quality customer service. Hi, I'm Kevin.
And I'm Dave. Tucker Equipment Rental has been supplying Jacksonville with equipment and event rental for over 50 years.
From commercial and homeowner projects, we've got what you need: lifts, dirt equipment, and landscape equipment.
And don't forget about event rentals, from festivals to weddings to backyard barbecues.
Local, knowledgeable, and always ready to help.
Tucker Equipment Rentals.
You need it, we've got it, come see us.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
If you're ready to transform your yard with a fence that stands out, elevate your curb appeal with Superior Fence and Rail. Superior takes pride in offering first-class service, friendly installers, and unmatched fence products. Mention this ad and get $250 off your next project. It's time to get off the fence and call today.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Hunters Know Patience is part of the game.
Just got to keep hunting.
Jeff Lageman, Captain Kevin Faber, and Captain Kirk Waltz on the Nimnit Outdoors Show. Presented by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning. Saturday morning from 7 to 10 on 1010XL.
Brackish Vodka, the spirit of the sportsman and proud partner of the Jaguars, wants to make your flight in and out of Jax a fun one. Stop by Vino Volo in the airport and enjoy 2 signature brackish cocktails. Vino Volo has amazing food and cocktails before your flight. Brackish Vodka is the first clean craft vodka and made right here in Jacksonville, Florida. Brackish Vodka for whatever your sport is. If your sport is flying, your vodka is Brackish, proud partner of the Jaguars.
Hey, Hicken here, and you know I'm going to talk about skin. Yeah, it's hot outside, folks. The oven is on. Temps are in the 90s, and it's only getting hotter. I love the summer, but my skin doesn't. I do my best with dry fit shirts, big floppy hats, plenty of water. My secret weapon, though, the sunscreen. I use it regularly. Maybe you should as well. Look, I've also been seeing docs at Peaches Dermatology for years, and my skin thanks me for it. I'm telling you, it could save your life. Book your appointment today at peachesdermatology.com.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal. Pretty nice weather we're having, huh?
You think this is nice?
I mean, it's sunny, warm. We do live in Florida.
It's not all upside, Jason. Warm weather comes, so all the cool people hit the beach. My old air conditioner craps out, so it's 1,000 degrees inside, and I'm stuck on a video call in my underpants trying not to sweat through my...
Wait. Put these sunglasses on.
I'm not going to put on your...
Whoa. The air conditioning experts at Bueller Air and Plumbing can keep your home office cool and comfortable all summer long. You look good in your meeting, impress the big guy with your cool confidence, maybe finally make assistant deputy regional manager.
Wow, air conditioning can do that?
Life moves pretty fast. If you spend all summer worried the weather is going to be too nice, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Hickens Hype. Checkmate Coatings crushes it with floors I'd put in my own pad.
I'm Brendan with Checkmate Coatings. We coat it all. Garages, pool decks, driveways, and patios. Be the envy of your neighbors.
Rush to checkmatecoatings.com. Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. He's number 55.
Tom McManus.
Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service. On 1010XL.
All right, several here on the text line weighing in on some of the things we were just talking about. Text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Let's see here. I wish Shador well. Hope he grows up, but he should lose his license for like 6 months, which is what would happen to us if we drive 100 plus, especially after a 90 plus ticket. Hey, I'm not arguing with you. Like as far as that goes, I'm just saying in the grand scheme. All right, so he loses his license for 6 months. He can afford to have someone drive him around. I'm not saying there shouldn't be some repercussions.
Of course, yeah.
Just saying that in the end, driving too fast is not as high as a list of transgressions of other things. You know, somebody said, traffic fatalities. What was it? Traffic fatalities. I'm losing track. There's so many of these. There are far more traffic fatalities than there are anything else. Well, define anything else. What are you talking about? It's not cause of death, heart disease and cancer, lap traffic fatalities. Now, after that, traffic fatalities are the next leading cause of death. So I'm not, again,
and they could eliminate it if they wanted to. Like the speed limit everywhere could be 15 and we'd never have anyone killed in a car, right? Like we could do that, but there's a risk to driving a car. There are rules. Follow the rules.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. Shaq put out rap albums. Again, do what you want in your downtime. Somebody else said so. Travis Hunter should not go fishing. Right. It's something they enjoy doing as long as he's not living the rap life.
Like the Shaq thing is exactly what you're talking about, Tommy. Yeah. Nobody cares what Shaq's doing with his time.
28
right,
and 14.
Because he's killing guys when he's playing. Right. Like he's playing at the highest level you can play. Who cares what else he has going on?
Right.
It's Anthony Richardson doing it. You're like, all right.
Well, would you look if Mahomes came out and said, "Yeah, you know what? I got a comedy career I'm launching."
Good for you, man.
Go for it.
I mean, like, I don't get it, but sure.
Go.
Why
Who cares?
not?
You can do whatever you want.
Right. So exactly. And nobody. Again, I'm not saying
fishing. What?
Well, Travis Hunter was fishing.
So go
in his
fishing.
Downtime. That's what it's. We're not saying. I'm not saying Anton Harrison shouldn't
have a hobby.
Talk about, food if he wants to at his heart's content. Somebody said Miles Jack used to make handmade candles. Exactly. Everyone's got a sideline. It's okay.
Right.
I don't think it's, but it's one thing to make candles and have a little business on the side, which he did, right? If you're out there and you're always commenting on this and that and the other thing, and you're going to draw the negative reactions when you aren't playing up to the expectations of people.
Yeah.
people that Anton would dominate last year, or at least take a major step towards that. And when he didn't, look again.
Yeah,
They have every right to do whatever they want. They're
for sure. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying you prefer that they don't. At least during the year.
Sure, and I just think. But again, okay. So Anton Harrison wants to get on there on a Wednesday night after everything's done and talk about Pasta Primavera.
I'm not gonna like fine or anything or bench or anything. I'd just be like, man, why don't you play a little bit better and then talk all you want? I mean, look. Eric Armstead has a podcast. Last year, I didn't watch all of it, but I watched a little bit. And talk about D-line play, and I'm sitting there going, "You didn't play that great. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you doing? Like, why even?" Just go play better, and then you can talk all you want. Hey, did you see us kick their ass? It was great. What, man? You see me work that guard? I'll be all for that. But I don't know.
So you can only do a podcast if you're playing what? So you shouldn't start one until you're a Pro Bowler, and if you are, what if you have a bad week? Do you skip it that week?
Maybe just do it in the off season.
Okay.
Maybe just focus on that.
What'd you do on your day off? I
didn't go on some camera and self-promoted myself. I know
because you didn't have the opportunity. There was no social media.
I didn't self-promote myself, period. I just wasn't into that back then, I guess.
But were you in your playbook all day on Tuesday on your day off? Were you studying the playbook all day?
I was definitely working out.
Okay, I'm sure.
Getting ready.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
You're working out, but I mean...
I was probably watching film. Or at least I didn't go in.
You think
I didn't go in on Tuesday.
Is every player doing that on their day off, or is Patrick Mahomes?
We showed up and won, so I don't know. You know what I mean? Our team's won. We're a good team.
I don't know how people in Dallas are reacting to it, but Micah Parsons runs his podcast all year, right? Like he's in season doing that podcast. I don't know how the people in Dallas feel about that. If they're just like, it's Micah Parsons, do whatever. Like that guy, I do not know.
But if his play fell a little bit, wouldn't people be like,
"Oh, it's a target"? Like you put a target on yourself if you're not.
I'm not trying to be a curmudgeon. I just want my guys focused on football. And when you're 4-13, you stink. And I don't care. You just should focus on it.
All right, let's put a pin in this whole thing for now. I'll say the guy said more traffic fatalities than anything else. I said heart disease and cancer would like a word. He goes, not talking about disease, but I think you know that. How would I know that when you say there are far more traffic fatalities than there are anything else?
Right.
Anything else? How am I supposed to know what you're talking about other than the words you actually wrote on the screen? So, no, I did not know what you're talking about when you say other than anything else. He goes, I'm talking about like things like murders and such. Okay, then say that. Say that. Jeez, man. All right. We got to get to the question of the day.
All right, cool.
So we'll save our debate for that on the other side and see if we can squeeze a call or two in there as well on the Checkmate Coatings phone lines at 641-1010. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Things you never hear Dan and Jeff say.
But I do know now that I shouldn't have yelled at you. I yelled at you a lot.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser are The Drill.
I know it wasn't all your fault.
Mornings on 1010XL.
I mean, it could have been partially my fault.
It's my fault.
Hey, John, have you seen the exciting 2025 lineup at Randy Marion Cadillac?
They've got the Lyric, IQ, Optique, and the stunning Vistique. It's a Cadillac lover's dream.
And the best part, over 100 new Cadillacs are in stock and ready for you to drive home today.
Plus, it's the perfect time to trade in your Tesla and experience luxury and performance like never before.
Visit us today at Randy Marion Cadillac on Southside Boulevard in Jacksonville.
Don't miss out on these incredible vehicles. Your new Cadillac awaits.
Tell them Jennifer sent ya.
Yo, this is Tony from Tony D's. Are you looking for a great slice of pizza? Well, we have about 12 varieties. Most places won't have slices of pizza after lunch. At Tony D's, you can get a slice all day. It's always fresh at Tony D's Pizza. Bay Meadows and 295.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold's recently hit an all-time high at over $3,000 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
When you're experiencing sudden, unexpected dental pain, the last thing you want to hear is that your dentist can't see you until next week. That's why I'm so glad I found Harbor Dental Care. Whenever I call, they always find a way to see me within 24 hours, and they can usually fix whatever's wrong the same day. Plus, they have locations throughout Jacksonville, so no matter what side of town I'm on, I can always count on the same great care. If you want to find a dentist who believes in treating people right, learn more at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
Hey, Hickett here for my friends at Zero Res. Gang, vacuuming is not sufficient to maintain the cleanliness and lifespan of your carpet, period. Do not, let me repeat, do not leave deep cleaning to yourself, but do-it-yourself dirt-attracting carpet soaking machines. No, no, no. Call on the cleaning freaks from Zero Res. Big summer savings. 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $129. Take 20% off air duct cleaning as well. Call them, 904-287-5727, and ask for the 1010XL special. Zero Res, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser share the huddle with Freddie T. Monday morning running back with Fred Taylor is fueled by Epstein and Robbins and Monahan Jewelers.
Fred Taylor, he's a candidate to go the distance.
On 1010XL.
Mia here for Closets by Design. It's been a few months since they built my custom closet, and you know how much I love it. My family is obsessed. With summer here, why not finally create that custom garage workspace you and your dad want? Think tool storage, workbenches, a place for everything to go. Closets by Design creates custom solutions for every space, lifestyle, and budget. That includes all you guys. Call to schedule your free in-home consultation and receive 40% off plus an additional 15% off. ClosetsByDesign.com.
Denny Thompson here. You got to check out Tyson's Showroom Home Theater with surround sound and comfy theater chairs. You can transform your living room into a cinematic experience. I can stay there to watch all my games. It's that comfortable. Call Tyson today and bring the theater experience home. Tyson Sound and Security, your security, home theater, and home automation experts. New showroom at 3555 U.S. Highway 17 in Fleming, Iowa.
Right now, they're on their way to disrupt your life, make you uncomfortable, and rob you. Don't bother calling the police. They can't help. That's right. Summer heat and humidity are about to attack North Florida again. You know what to do. Call Mike Merritt. Mike Merritt's Heating and Air has a license to chill. When heat and humidity are attacking you, Mike Merritt provides a comfortable chill at a bargain price. Mike has been keeping North Florida comfortable for 30 years. Mike Merritt technicians are never paid commissions, meaning you'll never be pressured to buy something you don't need. And Mike Merritt knows cooling issues can arise anytime. They don't just happen during business hours. So Mike Merritt never charges overtime fees. When you need us, we're here for you. Remember, in the fight against heat and humidity, Mike Merritt has a license to chill. Visit merrittair.com. Florida license number CACO 50384.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. As temperatures warm up around us, ants come out in droves. And when they move into your home or business, it's unnerving. Terminix knows that ants add up fast, but Terminix subtracts them faster because living with ants isn't any fun. When ants show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with an ant problem, Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com.
Tired of wrestling with your shower curtain like it's a fight for the last slice of pizza? Ditch the drama and say hello to a smooth, stylish glass shower enclosure from Baker Glass. Wago Glass is clean, elegant, and makes your bathroom look huge and brighter. Give your shower a makeover and feel like you're in a spa without the price tag. I'm Mac at Baker Glass. Call me and get ready to love your new shower. Let's make your shower great again. Remember, Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Tired of changing out bad sod year after year? Get it done right with Roundtree Sod. Big or small, they have it, and always supplied farm fresh. For a lush, legendary green lawn, call 7414-SOD for a free estimate. 7414-SOD.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
All right, down the stretch we come. Helmets and Heels coming up at the top of the hour. Tony Smith will be holding court for you next week with a helping of Tom McManus.
Yes.
Along the way.
Yep. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, Tone, right? Mm-hmm.
Dylan Denmark will be here for the whole 3 out of the 5 days.
Week, yeah.
Yeah. What
Thursday,
do you got?
Friday.
Who we got early? Oh, it's just Thursday, Friday for you next week, Dylan?
Yeah, I'll be back here Wednesday afternoon.
Okay. Who you got, RJ?
RJ, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, yeah.
All right.
All right.
There you go.
Good.
That'll be the last I think of it for 10-ish days.
Yep.
That's okay. That's the way it goes.
You playing golf at all?
I don't know.
No?
I might not. I'll probably play once. I'm going to play like a week from Sunday when I get back. We're going to. But I don't know if I'm going to bring the clubs on the road, man, because it's like, it's
a long time.
It'd just be me. No, I don't mind
you don't
the
mind
time.
the time.
It's just the time away. If we're all going together to do family stuff,
right?
I can play golf anytime.
Yeah, see you later, honey. I'm going to the bar for 5
It's not
hours.
a golf vacation. Let's put it that
I'll
way.
be back
But
on vacation.
I'm sure I'll get my opportunity along the way. Fan Cam wants to check in here on the Checkmate Coatings phone lines. And we got to get to the third best on the Jags.
Yeah.
Cam, what's up?
Hey, good morning, guys. I can picture Coach Coughlin's face when Tommy Mack comes up to him and says he's doing a rap video and a podcast this offseason.
Tom would have to get with the times is what he would have to do.
I
guess. So
You guys brought back a good memory last week when you were talking about your domination on the 7-foot rims, Mike. And I had a decent reputation running full court in the old Florida gym in college. And so a buddy of mine in the journalism school had to do a 30-minute commercial on a product. He decided to do a super energy pill that would make you great at sports. And to do the commercial, he showed up on the basketball court with me, and we started with me draining like a 20-footer on him and then giving him a head fake and driving right back by him for an easy layup. And then it panned to his face all irritated and frustrated, and he reaches for his pocket, pulls out a thing of pills and guzzles a few. And then we cut to the 7-foot rim from the 10-foot rim, and he gives a little fake on me, goes behind the back and does a reverse slam on the rim. And it turned out to be a pretty funny little 30-second commercial, and you got me remembering that on your 7-foot rim thing. So.
For the record, 8-foot rims. 8-foot rims, yeah.
You got to jump a little.
Well, I mean, I can hold an 8-foot rim flat-footed. I can grab an 8-foot rim. 7-foot rim.
Well, Jay was about 5'2", so I think it probably was about.
All right. Well, whatever worked for him, man.
Yeah.
So.
But it was a pretty funny commercial, and back then it got me thinking. We're so used to video cameras everywhere these days, and to do that little 30-second thing, he's got to go to the journalism department and check out a video camera. And today, I mean, everything we do is on film. It's pretty amazing. Yep. Well, it was a good recounting of some horror films, and the only thing I can think of scarier than that would be Tommy and the dad bod showing up outside of Pete's bar. I hear that's coming up. The wife and I have it plugged in, and is that the truth, Tom?
That is July 20th, Sunday afternoon, 4 to 7 p.m., fan.
Oh, boy. Neptune Beach will never be the same. Well, you guys have a great weekend, and even though it's the off season, we can still say Duval.
All right, there he goes. Fan Cam out the door here. By the way, apparently the stadium was ablaze this morning. Ablaze maybe a little strong.
An inferno.
There was smoke coming out, and
we're getting out of it today.
Fire and rescue on the scene down in Everbank this morning. Not within the last hour, and everything's fine.
Everything's okay.
It's been handled. Maybe
we love our firefighters.
Yes. Yeah. I heard Tone once again. We got to know the fact that when Tony and I did the show down there for good, I don't know, 8 seasons, however many seasons it was.
Yeah.
If it rained the night before, there's a good chance you came into the radio studio and several of the ceiling panels had collapsed.
Oh, yeah.
All right. That was just, there was a leak in the structure of the building that they'd be like, we solved it. And then you'd get like a 2-day rain, and no, it didn't solve it. So apparently some of that's still going on. So the facelift is much needed from what I understand.
We did plenty of shows down there with rat traps on the table in front of us. Like that was, for a while, that was the way that it was just, that's how things happened.
Yeah.
Until they remodeled that
was
studio.
just to keep Fortunato out of the studio, too. So, all right, guys, we threw the question out there today that if you take as gospel that Brian Thomas and Josh Hines-Allen, just take them out of the equation.
Okay.
Those guys off the table, who's the best Jaguar? Dylan, if you would.
10-10
Take.
Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 Take is serviced by Ideal Conditions Heating and Air, your go-to local HVAC company, veteran owned and operated.
All right, candidates that should even be considered for this question here. I think Trevor Lawrence is the most important player on this team. I think it's possible at the end of the year we feel that way about Trevor. If it all comes together, the hope is there. I can't put him there now. And again, most important, would I take Trevor over anybody? Well, if you don't have a quarterback, you probably would, right? I mean, you can have a great receiver. It's not going to necessarily win you a ton. Now, you can make arguments on both sides of that, but Trevor isn't there now for me. Is there anybody else on offense that would you consider Travis Hunter just based on speculation of what you expect out of him this year?
I wouldn't put him number 3, no.
Would you consider him? Is he in the conversation?
I think there are 3 players on the entire roster that I would even consider.
Outside of the 2 that are eliminated.
For the answer to this question. I do think Trevor would make that list of 3 that I would consider for who's third on the roster. I think Hunter, he's a complete question mark, so he'd probably be third of the 3, right, that I have in my mind, and the only other one that I would even think about is Trayvon. That's the whole list to me.
It is Trayvon to me.
Yeah.
Like, I think Trayvon's just, and we talked about it, he's always going to be compared to Aiden Hutchinson. Not as good as Aiden Hutchinson. But if we're not talking about Trayvon compared to Aiden Hutchinson here, we're talking about Trayvon compared to his peers. I think he's just gotten steadily better since he's been here.
Yeah, he's a stud. I like him a lot. I'd go with Trayvon. I tell you, while you guys were talking, I'm thinking okay, well, top 3 most important. One of them's got to be Eric Armstead moving inside, I think. I think that if he's consistently there and plays at a high level like he has shown that he can play at, I think that changes that D-line for the better, a lot better. And I think he's not the third best player in the team, but I think him moving inside is going to be one of the top 3 reasons why this team does well.
Okay, I understand what you're saying, but if I'm listing most important Jaguars, Trevor, number 1 by a large margin. Most important. Again.
Needs to be most, yeah.
He is the most. Whether he plays for that or not.
Yeah,
I mean, it's his performance is
for sure.
the linchpin of what this team does.
Yeah.
After that, I'd probably go Brian Thomas still because, it's a passing league. He's your alpha. He's your proven playmaker. I mean, you could put Travis Hunter right up. If you're expecting this guy to play both ways, you gave up 2 firsts and a second to go and aggressively go after this guy and change the way football's played in the NFL. Paraphrasing James Gladstone.
Yeah.
But anyway, so for me, if I'm voting, it's Trayvon.
Yeah, same.
Tony, same. Who you got? It's his best.
Yeah, I know. It's Trayvon by a nose. I'd be stunned if we get to the end of this year and it's not Trevor Lawrence easily. Like, that's my expectation.
I hope so.
Like, this isn't, like, for me, it's not a hope thing. That it is my expectation that Trevor Lawrence is going to be among the 3, and he might be leading it by the time we get to the end of this season. And that's where we all want him to be, need him to be. But answering it today, I'd put Trayvon by a nose. And there's it's not a long list. Like I said, it's only 3 guys that I would even consider for it. And even looking at, like, what is that next group of players?
Who is your 3 that you're looking at?
Trevor, Trayvon, Travis.
See, I'd put Foye in.
Yeah, Foye would be the top of that next group.
And this, by the way, eliminate to me, the specialists are never going to be in this conversation.
No.
And, like, they may be the best at their position.
Yeah, right.
But it's just I just not going to put them there.
The other player that deserves mention as a chance to be in this kind of conversation a year from now, I think, is Tyson.
They're paying him like that.
Right. Like, he's getting paid that way. He's got the talent to do that kind of thing. And there's who's going to push him off that spot, for now. So I think Tyson at least has a chance to develop into that kind of thing.
I hear some of the responses we got today. A good mixed bag. Scott said it's Trayvon Walker for me. I think he affects the game more than he gets credit for. Odie went with Travis Hunter. Cristiano said Trevor Lawrence. Gary said, I think it's Trayvon, hoping it's Trevor by the end of the year. That's right where I'm at as well. Code Blue says Trevor Lawrence. We know he's had his highs and lows, but he still has incredible talent. and I've witnessed it. I've no doubt he can be a top 5 to 10 quarterback in the league. Trevor said Jason or Logan Cook. Another one for Trevor. Trayvon's a complete football player, but if healthy, Walker Little has the talent to be an elite pass blocker. He may have the talent, like having the talent alone, you got to have the performance to match it. Who's the most talented offensive lineman on this team?
Most talented?
Yeah. That if you can get his best out of him, you would take that guy over the rest of them. Who would you say that
From
is?
like an athletic standpoint, what are we talking about?
What you think can get the job done, like the capability to play his position at a high level if he's playing at his highest level. To me, it's easy, Anton. Easy, Anton.
Anton's, they say, the most athletic.
That doesn't make him the best, is my point.
Yeah.
Walker's, I don't know.
Yeah, Walker's like the left tackle mold.
In terms of the
physically, yeah, without a doubt.
Like that kind of thing. Whatever that competitive fire is that we've talked about for several years now with Walker, if I could take that away from him and just let's get the best of what we could get out of him, I think my answer would be Walker.
I will tell you, I think from an athletic, size, speed, and all that kind of stuff, I think Fred Johnson's pretty close to Walker. Mm-hmm. I think he's got that size, skill set you want. Can he do it consistently? Right, he's shown that in flashes he can. So is Walker. In flashes, he's shown that he can get the job done.
Trevor probably getting the most love here. Foye getting a good amount of mention. A little bit of Campbell, the specialist, getting mentioned here as well. Again, Ross Madison, multi-time Pro Bowler. That's good for him. But
all pro. He's great.
Okay, he's great at what he does. What he does is not.
No.
It's just not nearly as impactful.
You don't need to have the best long snapper in the game to have a great team.
No, but if you do,
it helps.
It's fine too, right?
Yeah,
I'm glad he's good at what he does. Somebody here mentioned, what was it? See if I can find it. It basically said, let me get some love. Here it is. I think Trayvon is the best with a nod to Jarian Jones. Like, we can all like Jarian because I get a really good vibe from him beyond his play, but also in terms of how he carries himself, how he talks about the game. All that's fine. He's intangibly rich.
Yeah.
Is he the bad? I mean, he's not
right.
even guaranteed to start.
Right.
So
that's a little far-fetched.
Yeah, I would agree with that. All right, our time is done. We'll wrap things up here in a moment, but let's say hello to Helmets and Heels.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
All right, Mia O'Brien is here with us. Good morning, Mia.
Hey, Mia. How we doing?
Doing excellent. Like T-minus 2 minutes, and I'll see you in 10 days.
Yeah.
So I'm doing great. But today, based on the fact that Pete Prisco did his top 100, and he had Brian Thomas and Josh Hines-Allen at 44 and 76, I believe it was. So if you take that as gospel, that they're the best two, who's the third best player?
Trayvon Walker.
Yeah, that's what we all agreed.
Yeah, we made the argument on yesterday's program that, especially knowing Pete had Trayvon as an honorable mention last year to his top 100.
Yep.
And Trayvon Walker had double-digit sacks for a second consecutive season. Only, I believe, the second Jaguar to ever do that besides Calais Campbell. And he had more sacks than Josh Hines-Allen. And certainly sacks aren't the only metric that you should be basing that off of, but you could make the argument that he should have snuck his way.
Right. If you took salary out of it, and you took all the GMs and you're drafting players off the Jaguars, who goes ahead, Trayvon or Josh?
It's a great question. If you ask Mike Tomlin, Trayvon Walker.
Right. I mean, he's got youth on his side as well.
He said it, and it was amidst a season in which Josh had 17 and a half sacks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, I think it's a fair debate. I mean, Josh Hines-Allen's a really good player as well. So, what's coming up for Helmets and Heels?
It's a very, very special Helmets and Heels. This is truly this is the show that epitomizes Feel Good Friday. The F in Friday stands for friendship. This is the Friends of Helmets and Heels show. Lauren Brooks is off today. Taylor Dahl and I have been handed the controller, and we are going to have a cast of characters joining us. Our friend Luke Hetrick from WSB TV up in Atlanta will stop by to not only talk about the state of the Atlanta Braves, but also he'll talk about his former stomping grounds. He still has a really good connection, break some news with the Orlando Magic. We'll talk about the Desmond Bain trade. Kristen Peak will join us from Hoops HQ to talk NBA draft as well as the NBA Finals at 1 o'clock. And then finally, We saved the best for last. With all due respect to Luke and Kristen. Cole Thompson, SEC Unfiltered. We have him scheduled for 12 minutes. Something tells me he will go a little bit longer.
All right.
Cool.
Have a great show.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend and following weekend as well.
That's right.
As far as that goes. Helmets and Heels coming your way.
I want to hear about Sophie Cunningham knocking people around out there. I like the fisticuffs of WNBA now.
Stay tuned. All that and more coming your way. All right, Tone, have a great week.
You too.
At least I won't be around to mess it up. Tommy, have a great week as well.
I
Appreciate
will, man. Rock and roll.
Denmark, go win a bunch of money out there in the casinos of Colorado.
Yes, sir.
All right, and I will see you. I'll see Denmark before we get back. We may have a tentative tea time in the works. So that'll do it for us today. Everybody have a great week next week. I'll see you when I get back from vacation. For Tony Smith, Tom McManus, and Dylan Denmark, I'm Mike Dempsey. Thank you for listening to Jaguars Today. And keep it right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Maxwell House coffee will live on forever.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios.
When they